Surprise!
This is so rare that lawmakers actually strike a surprise deal in Washington. Usually we know every detail as it's happening, but that's exactly what's happened. Moderate West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin pulled out of talks with the Senate's top Democrat Chuck Schumer days ago. He cited concerns about inflation, but late Wednesday he did an about-face that no one saw coming and reached an agreement with Schumer on health care, climate, as well as deficit reduction. And the bill is notably called the Inflation Reduction Act. So the bottom line for Americans, what does it mean for you? Well, this bill aims to keep health care costs in check, according to the lawmakers who reached the deal, by extending subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, as well as aiming to lower prescription drug prices.
What?
And it allocates about $369 billion to energy and climate programs that lawmakers say could lower carbon emissions by about 40% by the year 2030. That's the goal. It's being touted as the largest climate investment ever made by Congress. Now, the big question also, how are they going to pay for this, Savannah? Well, they're proposing increasing the corporate minimum tax to 15% and investing $300 billion into the deficit. So a lot of sides still trying to drill down on the details, but that's what we know so far.
Massive! It's massive. It's big. This is bigger than both of us, baby. It's huge. It's ginormous. Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a huge bill. There's two bills. And yesterday I was telling you that they were working on this bill called the CHIPS bill, which was to make semiconductors in the United States of America. And that actually passed because Mitch McConnell wrangled like 17 Republicans and passed it believing that Joe Manchin was telling him the truth when Joe Manchin said he would be the roadblock. He'd be the speed bump. He'd be the, fork in the road, and as in, fork you. And he would not give his vote to the budget package, to the reconciliation deal, to the Build Back Better plan, which is now lovingly called the Inflation Reduction Act. I love it. Because, Republicans cannot be against inflation reduction and still claim that they're the party of the people, the little people, which is hysterical. That they even tried to be populist. It was just, all they ever did when they had the entire government, all of it, was lower taxes for the wealthiest Americans. That is what they focused on. That is what they did. That was their agenda. And that's what they accomplished. Nothing else. But Build Back Better, this is Build Back Better, okay? Except that it doesn't have anything in it for children, okay? Manchin, he was not going down the help children road. That's not his thing. That's not where he's at. That's not where his head's at. That's not what he cares about. He cares about pipelines. So, okay. So Mitch McConnell gets played by Joe Manchin. Well, welcome to the Democratic Party, Mitch. Welcome to dealing with Joe Manchin. They're furious. The Republicans are furious because Manchin had told Hoppy, he goes on this local radio show all the time, and that's where Mitch McConnell gets his inside information about what Manchin's going to do. And Manchin had told Hoppy over there in West Virginia that he was out. He was never going to vote for, an energy bill, for a reducing drug price bill, for a increasing tax bill on the richest corporate, citizens, because corporations are people, my friend, right? He kept telling McConnell he wasn't going down that road. He wouldn't do it. So go ahead and do the CHIPS thing. Go ahead and do the CHIPS thing and get all the Republicans to vote for that, and we'll create jobs that way. But we're definitely not in on the Build Back Better without any help for children. What do I mean by that? Okay, so you remember Build Back Better had childcare in it. It had universal pre-K in it, which West Virginia, to its credit, has universal pre-K. So he wasn't interested. He wasn't interested in helping Louisiana or Alabama or Ohio or any of the other states. But it had pre-K. It had childcare, subsidies to help people pay for childcare so they could work. And it had family leave. So they nixed all that. And what they kept from Build Back Better was the lower cost for prescription drugs. Woohoo, everybody. So this bill has that. This bill does exactly what we've been spitting out a spleen for years, literally years, saying needed to happen, and that was to give Medicare, the government socialist program that ensures people over 65, that Medicare should have the awesome authority to negotiate with pharma, with big pharma, the price that Medicare pays for prescription drugs, the price that people who have Medicare pay out of pocket for prescription drugs, costs that weren't covered by Medicare. And this is in there. It is totally in there. It caps the amount of money that a person on Medicare would have to come out of pocket at $2,000, which is there are some meds out there. I don't even know if you know, and I hope you don't. Because if you don't know, it means you don't need them, and yay for you. Yay for you. Health is, better than wealth. But there are drugs out there. Like whenever you see all these commercials on the TV for, you should try Xeljanz and you should try, all these crazy named things. They're all for, I don't know. I didn't know that we had an epidemic in this manner of psoriatic arthritis. I had no idea that so many Americans suffered from psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis and eczema and all these things that needed biologics, okay? Now, I will tell you, Howard has, for real, psoriatic arthritis. So we've been through this rodeo, okay? And every single time you try a biologic and it doesn't work, first of all, you have to go through the pharmaceutical company, because if not, it's going to be like $200,000. Yeah, for a year's worth of this particular thing. So you have to go to Amgen they always say, if you need help paying for your medicine. Yeah, so you have to do that, which slows down the ability for you to get those meds by about 3 months. And then they move you from one to the other, to the other, to the other, because this one doesn't work, that one doesn't work, this one blocks a different IL, this one blocks that, this one does this one has that side effect, this might, And every time you have to try something new, you have to go to the drug company, you have to get approval, you wait, and then all of a sudden you get very excited. Oh, they just approved my Enbrel. And then it comes in the mail from a specialty pharmacy. This is really quite a game that they're playing. And the cost to you might be the low bargain basement price of $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month for an injection or for a pill. It just depends, okay? So now they've capped the amount that you would ever have to pay to $2,000 a year, which is such a huge, huge deal. It's ginormous. It's magnificent. It is meaty. It is important if you are one of the people that are trying these new drugs that you see advertised all over the TV. Ask your doctor. Ask your doctor. Okay, so there's that. There's also a $369 billion investment into clean energy, climate change oriented sources of energy that are setting a goal of reducing carbon emissions and methane too by 40% by 2030. Now, that is not net zero for those of you who are sticklers. That is not net zero, which is what we really want to try to do. But it is the biggest down payment on wind, on solar, on factories that make turbines, on training for people to work on those turbines, for training people to install solar panels, all of that, with tax credits for people to go ahead and purchase. And there's also an extension of subsidies to help you pay for the ACA health care. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.